Hello and welcome to Airtricity TV in association with BoldSports.com. I'm Raymond Doyle, and joining me now is a man who was in fantastic tipping form last week, tipping up all 5 predictions, and that's Mr. Leon Blanche. Well, Leon, great form last week. Hopefully we can make a few quid now for the long bank holiday weekend. We'll start off with probably the game of the weekend in the showground, Sligo Rovers against Bohemians, live on TV. Where's the money going for this one? Who are you fancying?
Yeah, this is a very good game, Ray, because we've got two teams here who have got to bounce back for two different reasons. Sligo knocked out of the Setanta Cup by Rovers, and they want to maintain their very good start to the league campaign. And Bohemians are now starting to get a bit of solidarity, both from midfield and the back. The back four are working very closely with their midfield. They're not giving away many goals. They would have been very disappointed to give away a last-minute equaliser against Shamrock Rovers, but it was still a good performance. Where's the money going? Even money Sligo, 23-10 Bohemians and 11-5 the draw. I think Bohs will be a little bit more disappointed with their result last week than Sligo would be in the league away to Dundalk, where they got a fantastic point, I feel, having gone a goal down to Jason Byrne. So let's go with a Sligo home win here at even money. I just feel Paul Cook will have his troops fired up for this one. It's a big chance to get 17 points on the board in the league, and I fancy Sligo big time to win. Even money, Cretaro, maybe, if you like them first goal scorer bets, have a look at him to open the scoring.
I hope you're right in that one, Leon. We'll go on to a side who have surprised many, Bray Wanderers. They're up there, they're only a point off the top of the table. They're playing a fairly shocking Galway United team at the minute who are going through an awful run of form. Money only going one way in this one?
Only going one way. Bray at 8-11, Galway 130 and 9-4 to draw. You are right, Galway are having terrible problems at the moment, not just on the field but off the field. Is the funds there to keep this club going for the entire season? That's a big question mark. Bray are 8-11, Pat Devlin, an old head on young shoulders, and Devil won't mind me saying that. He's an absolute genius. He's been there, done that. He's been all around the world in terms of soccer, so he knows what it's about, and the people of Bray love him. He's one of their own. 8-11, it's not a great price. I'm not saying that Bray haven't started well, Ray, but they're not any world beaters. They're not going to win the league. It's a fantastic start, but I would just tread a little bit carefully here. I do fancy them to win, but I wouldn't be backing them at 8-11. But would I fancy Galway? Absolutely not. So I've got to go with the home win.
Okay, we're going to head north now, Leon, for Derry City. They're playing St. Pat's. Pat's coming from Inchicore, disappointed to lose that last minute goal to UCD last week. Money for this one, who are you fancying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think St. Pat's and Bohs are in the same bag here. They've both given away late goals last week, so that will dent their confidence a little bit. But Pats are doing okay. They've only got 8 points out of a possible 21, whereas Derry are the surprise package coming up from the First Division. As I said last week, a massive new sponsorship deal, so that's going to put funds into the playing squad. Players should be confident, and I really like Derry. I think they're going to be, I'm not saying they're going to go all the way this year. Their squad might be a little bit thin, but they're going to go very close. 5-6 Derry, 11-4 St. Pat's and 9-4 the draw. I don't like tipping odds on, and I don't like going short prices, but I just do fancy Derry. I think they will beat St. Pat's. It's going to be a big crowd up in the Brandywell. They've got great support, and I really like Derry this year. It's great to see a club coming up from the First Division and mixing it with the big boys.
Okay, good stuff. Next one is the big loud derby, Drogheda against Dundalk. Drogheda, much publicised, on-field problems. They just can't seem to get it together this season. Lily White's good draw against Rovers last weekend. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I think, looking at Dundalk, I think they've also got a small squad, but what Ian Foster has done, I think, remarkably well is he spent his budget really good. He hasn't given big name players big contracts. He said, come down here, we play a style of football that will suit you. I read an article about Jason Byrne saying that he loves it. 2 wingers crossing balls into the box. Himself and Quigley are on fire.
Absolutely.
I tipped up Jason Byrne at the start of the season to be the top scorer in the league. I'm still sticking with that. And I think Drogheda have only got 2 points out of 21, Ray.
That's right.
It's very worrying if you're a Drogheda United fan, whereas if you're a Dundalk fan, you're on a crest of the wave into the final of a Setanta Cup. Only 6 points off the top, and I really fancy Dundalk here. I think they will beat their neighbours. 8-13 Dundalk for me. I think it could be the banker of the entire Premier League campaign this weekend.
Okay, and finally, Leon, last game with the league leaders Shamrock Rovers, as you're saying, through to another Setanta Cup final, playing UCD. Only one way is this one?
Yeah, I think so, Ray. It's 130 on, so that means you've got to put down 100 quid to win 30 or else 10 to win 3. UCD 15 to 2 and the draw is 130 against. You'd have to fancy Rovers.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with what Shamrock Rovers did when they lost against Bray, who are a bit of a hoodoo for Rovers. They went then and they beat Sligo away in the Setanta Cup. They got a late draw, but that was a good draw away to Bows because they only had 10 men in the 90th minute, and then they beat Sligo at home in the Setanta Cup. But the one thing that Rovers have above all the other sides is a squad.
Definitely,
they can pick and choose whoever they want, and they will beat the students, and they'll beat them very, very comfortably. But I would just watch the space. Gary Twigg in the last 3 or 4 games has been taken off, and
Charles Shepherd, he got the goal against like Rovers.
He got the goal against Rovers, so it'll be interesting to see what O'Neill does. Will he start Shepherd or will he start Twigg? If you're asking me, go with the man in form and start Shepherd. I know Twigg was last season's top scorer. He's a fantastic player, but he's just not hitting the back of the onion bag at the moment, right?
Absolutely. Leon, as you're saying, it's very, very tight at the top. We have 3 teams and 14 points at 1 and 13. Not a bad time to have a look at the outright market for the season. Sham still favourite?
They are still favourites, but it's brilliant for the Airtricity League. They've come in with a massive sponsorship. They've got 3 teams, co-leaders, all on 14 points. But Rovers are the favourites at 6 to 4 on. Sligo 9 to 4. Paul Cook, I've already given him enough credit this year. He's a brilliant manager. But Derry City, to me, at 15 to 2. Just represents a little bit of value. Back them each way. It is the first 2 places. I just have a feeling Derry are going to be... No one's going to really worry about them until the second half of the season when they're still there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And then they can just give it a right old whack. No value at 4 to 6. No value at 9 to 4. Go with Derry at 15 to 2.
Thank you very much, Leon. Remember, you can follow all our tips and all our prices on ballsports.com, and we'll see you all next week.